G'day to the Natasha and Debbie show. I I'm just a recent subscriber of yours on YouTube and a follower of yours on Facebook. I am Dragon Barrows, and you know me by another name, and that so yeah. I to be honest with you, to be honest, I love you. I love you, girls. You do a good job with work and with looking into what Australia has to offer. And if I can, I'll try to help you to understand Australia a bit more. With one of the things that with the recent video I've watched of yours, and that's the Australian slang. The drop bear, it's not a real live creature. To use an example, it would be Bigfoot. If you, it's virtually saying like your Bigfoot. A drop bear is mythically known. Well, the modern mythology of drop bear is it's just a load of nonsense. It's a load of the guy's talking out of his fucking ass. And I'm one of those YouTube videos that be a bit more honest and be a bit more truthful. Not truthful, but be a bit more hard hitting and blunt. A drop bear, it's just a hoax. It's just like someone would say, "Oh, beware the drop bears, mate." And if they say if they hear that you're going bush, if you're going out where the country sort of area is, they would say, "Oh, beware the drop bears, mate. You're going to get yourself killed out there if you're not careful." It's a grizzly bear-sized koala that only eats flesh. Just imagine the mentality of a shark. Not the mentality of a shark. The hunger level of a shark inside of a koala that's escalated to the size of a grizzly bear or two grizzly bears. Maybe like the size of a bison. So, if someone says, "Oh, be careful of the bush bears, mate, you're going to get yourself killed," it's just a dumb Australian way of saying. It's just virtually saying, "Be careful out there." And these crazy people, these galahs, as that person would say, who would brought up to you, they would tell you various remedies and practices that you do to ward off the drop bear, and that is like I've heard one person say, "Oh, mate, have you got yourself WD-40 and metho?" Metho over here is methylated spirits. Something you can pick up from a hardware store. And then you go, "No, what do we need that for?" And they go, "Oh, you need to mix up a cup of methylated metho and a cup of WD-40, and you splash it around your campsite the drop bears don't want to be a part of it. Or there's been other ones where if you hang 5 G strings in a certain pattern, or if you're a fella, hang each color budgie smuggler or men's swimming attire in a certain way, and the drop bears won't even come near you. So, ladies, please understand that drop bears is like saying the Bigfoot myth in your country. So, I'm guessing in your area, there would some Yahoo some Yahoo idiot would be saying, "Oh, mate, hey, dude, let me tell you this. You need to put honey on every third or fourth tree from your campsite in the Star of David formation, and your campsite will be free from Bigfoot." Or if you do this to this certain area or that and that area, or this and the other in certain patterns, to get rid of it, the Bigfoot. and that. So, ladies, it's a myth. The drop bear is absolutely nothing to fear. But you may want, but the insect and like the insect stings and the bites from certain snake species and the sting from different like some certain scorpions over here. Yeah, there's pretty like we do have in this country a high population of venomous insects and that, so you gotta be careful when it comes to scorpions. Check your shoes every single time when you if you're going camping. That's the first thing you have to do is check your shoes, and you have to make sure that you are very much put certain things in the right bags or something like that, because you don't want your stuff to get eaten. But that's beside the point. But again, I'm just saying this. Thank you for looking in on us, checking us out. Another thing from this local, when it comes to, especially here in Sydney, if these tourism companies say, "Oh, come and eat here, come and eat there, come and eat somewhere else if you want top-notch food," let me just inform you, the best way for you to find the best food is not by looking on some website. Nothing on your phone that can help you with when it comes to this sort of thing. The best thing to do is to ask a local. I suggest, if you come via Sydney Airport, just ask a local, and they will if they live in the city, if they know certain places in the city, just go to them. Let's ask them, where's the best places to eat? The locals will tell you where you should go to eat. Like over here, there's a place here in Circular Quay, which is close to my capital city of Sydney, is Betty's Burgers. It's right in Circular Quay, and they have the best tasting burgers ever. but that's come from me. Someone else would say, try up the road a bit. You can try eating at this other place. It's a bit better than Betty's Burgers. Or don't go here because it makes Betty Burgers look like fine cuisine. But we've got over here in this, well, at least here in Sydney, great international food. You can try it out. I suggest that you stay in a 3-star hotel. I'm not saying that, like, most 3-star hotels have free internet access, but it doesn't give you like the big buffet breakfast or something like that. It'll give you a chance to explore the area. And when you explore the area, you can find the foods that you like there. Like 3-star accommodation is usually surrounded by great food. And my girlfriend and I, we know this to be a fact. Another thing for you to do, at least here in Sydney, and you come around certain festivals, I suggest you go to these festivals. It's how can I describe this? Like these festivals, it's like, especially these cultural festivals, there's great food there, and as well you get this, you get a wonderful sense of a community, and you get a wonderful sense of being welcomed into the area more, because it's like the local government, like the local city governments over here. You would call them local counties, but over here we call them local city governments, or our version of a local county government would say, like if you hear word of some place out west, like Liverpool. That's where I live in Liverpool, which is a city southwest of, well, a county southwest of the Sydney Central Business District, CBD. And we do have a strong Asian, like East Asian and subcontinental communities. Like, just travel on a train from the city to Liverpool during around this time, and it's usually a small walk from. There's like across the road from the train station's main entrance. You get like this place called Railway Street, and it's usually on the other side of Railway Street, where we're on a street called George Street, and we have like nearly the whole street. Well, you can call it a block party if you want, but you got all this beautiful food. You got different cultural experiences and that. So I would suggest that you do that. Another thing for you to do when you're here in Sydney, or if you're in Australia, you hear about a location, you take the train or take the bus, wherever, to go there. At least over here in Sydney, I would suggest that you go on the go along the ferry circuit, or the ferry line of public transport. Why am I suggesting that you travel via the waters? Traveling via the water, it's like our way of saying Venice. It's like our Venice sort of thing, where you can see like beautiful restaurants and beautiful homes, and you can see industry and and military and beautiful parklands and all this other stuff. along this river called the Parramatta River, and it's something to be honest with you, something to be great. You can get off at different stops and check out the beautiful and wonderful places where you can eat there. So yeah, I would suggest that you do that when you come to Sydney. Travel along the Parramatta River. You may want to stop off at Sydney Olympic Park because Rydalmere and Parramatta, you have to go through a very industrial area, and it does have it smells of burning plastic, sewage, smoke, and like rotten fish and egg smell. Something you don't want. So get off at Sydney Olympic Park, and you can take a bus from there to the location where some of your fine athletes competed and stayed at during the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games. Which is amazing because they have, in that location, there's some great restaurants, and there's a couple of good hotels for you to stay at if you want to stay out west, like out west of Sydney. And it's so amazing. But before you do any traveling around here, you'll need one of these. It's called an Opal card, and I think a minimum that you would have to put on there, and I'm being honest here, a minimum of 75. You have to get the card, then you have to get at least a minimum of $70+. That's if you're not willing to top up every time when you're in the area. A minimum of $75 to $80, and that will take you. And sometimes if you do a lot of traveling, you tap on and you tap off. It'll be nothing, no charge, so you'll be sweet. So that's one thing you have to do when you land in Sydney. Get yourself an Opal card. Another great thing about Sydney is we do have quite a lot of wonderful beaches going up and down the coast. Well, not as small as Sydney, but just in New South Wales in general. Beautiful beaches, and the beaches are clean, so you don't have to worry about that. One of my friends, she lives in a place called Avalon, and they have a wonderful beach there, but you may be getting off at Chatswood train station and taking some other forms of public transport to get there. So, or even getting on a bus from Wynyard to Westfield. Sorry about that. I should know about it. Broadway, and take another bus from there to the beaches in that area. But if you don't want to do that, take a ferry from Circular Quay to Manly, and they have great beaches in Manly as well. It's just something that there's something about the ferry system that you have to try. Especially the trip from Circular Quay to Manly and back, because that's a lot. That you can feel the waves, because it's like you go past a place called the Gap. There's like North Head and South Head, and that's where on Boxing Day the yachts travel from out of Sydney and go down to a city called Hobart. If someone from Hobart can do a video on that, I'll let them do that. But sometimes you can see whales and that breaching and that in the waters, which is fantastic and it's beautiful. Just in and around Circular Quay, there's the Sydney Opera House, there's the Sydney Harbour Bridge, the Rocks. That's good. One place I suggest you to go to, and that's Frankie's by the Slice, and that is one of the best places to get pizza, get drunk. Over here in Australia, we say get sloshed, and enjoy a independent band. And if you want to, you can play some pinballs as well as a part of the experience. Back to the food. We do have quite a lot of affordable food, like affordable sushi, affordable burgers, and don't be surprised that you'll be saying an Australian Big Mac is better than an American one, or an Australian Whopper is better than an American one, or a chicken burger from KFC is far better than the ones that you're used to. Is that like over here, we don't post up like a bazillion ingredients just for the bun, or give you a bajillion points of reference to the lineage or the heritage of the animals used in the food. We just say, that's over here in Australia. Our burger patties, and I've worked in both in what you would say the king and the clown. All it is ground meat, a little salt, a little pepper, and that's it. Those three ingredients are the only things that you're going to find in a burger patty in Australia. The main ingredients, at least. Over here in Australia, the chicken, it's beautifully done. But there's only one place where I suggest that you don't eat, and that's Taco Bell. That place is shit. And when I say shit, it is shit. You either taste bland, pathetic nothingness, or have your head blown off by spice. No flavor whatsoever. So if someone says, well, why don't you try our local Taco Bell, you say no. Guzman and Gomez at Mex, and actually try those two places and also Mad Mex, sorry, at Mex, Guzman and Gomez, and Mad Mex are the best places to go to for your American, like Yankified Mexican cuisine. Best places to eat there. Betty's Burgers, or any other high-end burger joint, is far better than your fast food stuff, well, that we've imported over here. And there's a place over here in Australia called, well, over here in New South Wales at least, called Red Rooster. And no, it's not a place where you. It's not a homosexual, or male homosexual bar over here. It's actually an Australian fast food chain where they serve great roast chicken and chips. Shove some of that bird down your gob and swig it down with whatever soft drink or water that you want. You'll be fine with that. You can get that in some shopping centres, or over here in Australia. You call them you may call them malls over in America, but over here we call them shopping centres. Especially like the larger shopping centres as well. You can usually find a Red Rooster or some delicious chicken joint. Over here over here in Australia, we're mainly getting towards the Korean fried chicken. So we do have the KFC, the Kentucky Fried Chicken, but we don't. But we're starting to go away from the Colonel and welcome the Korean Dragon when it comes to this sort of food, because we've discovered it's become a lot more lighter in the oil and that, so you don't have to worry about it. And if you really want some great food, there's the fish and chip shop, or the burger and chip, or chicken and chip shop, where they can serve you some great chips. The burgers are fresh and tasty, and it's good price for your time over here in Australia. Like you can get yourself like a half chicken and chips here for about $10. And these chips are cooked fresh every day. They're not, and the preparation of like the chicken burger or the beef patty burger, it's something to be amazed by, because you can actually see them create the patties and place them on the like on the hot top or grill, and you can see it getting cooked. And when you see them flip the burger, like flip the patty over, and they put over here we have cheddar cheese instead of the American cheese slices. We have cheddar cheese over here, and just watching it melt, and then they put on like the caramelized onion on top of that. Let that grill for a bit more. You can ask them for what sauce. If you want sweet chili sauce, you can have sweet chili sauce. If you want tomato, you can have tomato. If you want barbecue, you can have barbecue as well. Same thing goes for our Middle Eastern cuisine. So if you want like the kebabs, boom, same thing, but you can have garlic sauce, garlic aioli, mayonnaise, and other such things. Beautiful. I know I've been speaking a lot about the food over here in Sydney, but that's one of the best parts of travelling in this area, is that you'll discover like a wonderful, like different flavor profiles in that when it comes to being here in Sydney, Australia. And if you want to travel to a place north, there's Newcastle. But I like to, some from Newcastle can do that sort of thing, and there are other people that can do other sort of videos based on their local area. But yeah, it's just something that you may want to look into. There are great little townships. If you want to leave Sydney, just like the Sydney CBD area, we have a thing called the Greater Sydney area, which goes like from like just south of like just halfway between a place called Newcastle down to like Wollongong, and from the Gap to the foot of the Blue Mountains is called the Greater Sydney area. And even in that sort of area, you find some great food and great company. As well, when you're over here, try to avoid the tourism places like you can buy U-Butte Australian like Australian koala keychains, but it'll set you back like 40 or 50, not 40, 50, around about like a shit ton. A shit ton is like a extremely a lot more than what you would expect to pay. I would suggest you try and this is not exactly going out to just to Natasha and Debbie. This is going out to anyone in the United States, anyone in Canada or wherever. But still, I'd suggest that you do take some public transport. You do find a big shopping center, and there's places in there called a variety store. And in a variety store, you will find the same thing that's sold in these big tourism areas like Circular Quay, but you, instead of paying like $8 Australian, which would be about $6.50, US, you might be paying $2.50, which will be like a dollar, $1.25 US, for the same product. So you'll save yourself a lot of money. And like if you want like the little cuddly koala bear, they can just go boop. Like that's all they do. Go boop. You can put them on like on your clothes. Like you can put like it's like a mini clasp. You can clasp it, put on your top, and you can put on your hat. You can put it on any sort of thing. There are beautiful pens and that you can buy from these stores. But if you're really in a push and bind, you can go to those sort of places and pay around about $6.50 for these same items, where you can pay for like $1.25. This is your currency. It costs you more to get out there if you're staying in Sydney, but it'll cost you a lot less than buying gifts from Australia. But if you don't want to pay for the cost of travelling outside of Sydney and you're staying around the Circular Quay area, yeah, go to that one. The quality is still good. The same quality, different pricing. But just thinking about how interested in Australia you are, I'm giving you like the best pointers of what to do in my state. But if you come like between early mid March to late September, early October, and especially if you go to a thing called a pub. In America, you call it a bar, because over here in Australia, there are some people that are that passionate about they're sports teams. Like I'm wearing the singlet or a singlet of my favorite rugby league team, and if I was to wear this outside of the area, oh, do I get looks? And I'm proud to get those looks. But still, the the whole idea of you being safe is that you don't say like there's a place there's several places around here where they don't like like the color like the team that I'm wearing. If you say, "Oh, I love the rabbits. They're so like they're so great," or something like that. If you're just saying like for the actual animal, I'll say, if you love the rabbits so much, go to Redfern, go to Zetland, go to Waterloo, go to Alexandria. Don't come here if you love those things. Go to there. Or if you're in the Rabbitohs area and you say, aren't the Broncos the most powerful? And I say, and some of them I've seen a few people wear other rugby league team attires in these areas, and I'll go, you said what? The Broncos aren't the most powerful ones. We are. We're the 22-time rugby league champions over here. They can't touch us. No other team can touch us. So you better be careful. You better be saying about the animal instead. Emphasize on the animal, not the team. Animal, not the team. But Natasha, you may find yourself liking a particular rugby league team over here. I suggest these guys, but that's just my suggestion to you. Well, if you want to look into getting your own rugby league team, fine. Do your research and make sure that you do your research well, because you'll be the one to be that club's fan, like I've done with the Nashville Predators in the NHL, the Baltimore Ravens in the NFL, and the Timberwolves in the NBA. Like I took a long time to discover those teams, and I would suggest that you do a similar thing to do with following the rugby league here in Australia. Another great thing to do out here is not just doing the festival thing. It's just the roaming. Just walk around. Especially, as I said, go to Manly. There's some beautiful locations there in Manly. I suggest that you go to the Chinese Friendship Garden, which is in Darling Harbour. It's a beautiful location. Great place to take photos. Circular Quay, that's a beautiful place as well. Because right near, like, if you're looking in your right hand side, you'll see the beautiful, majestic, sensual curves of the Opera House. And you look to your left, you see a mighty chunky thigh off the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And right in the middle is one of the most beautiful places in Sydney, Circular Quay. I just simply love that area because you're in a place where people from overseas can come and you can go overseas. There's places where you can eat. And that area is great for festivals, and you are surrounded by beautiful landmarks. And across the harbour, you see the iconic Sydney's Luna Park. That's the reason why I'm saying it's so beautiful. That one particular location. And oh, there are just so many things to do over here in Sydney. I suggest that you pack your bags. Firstly, do the research in finding good hotels. Uh, Sometimes 4 and 5 star hotels are not worth the money, but if you want to, 3 stars is a good place to start in looking for your hotel. Another great place for you to, and that's one thing you have to do. Uh, Flights you have to pay whatever they have to pay there, but with the hotels you can pay anything, because if you go to other like outlying suburbs, or you would call neighborhoods, uh, there they have some good hotels and that to stay in as well. Another thing, you can choose your own itinerary. You don't have to go on some. You don't have to rely on someone plugging their thing, saying, "Oh, this is the most U-Butte tour of Sydney." U-Butte means the most. They say, "Oh, the most U-Butte, the most prestigious," something along those lines. It's like prestigious, unique. But the only thing prestigious about it is the price, and the only thing unique about it is what the actual person operating the touristy tour guide, like tour guides, and that would say. I suggest to do the most U-Butte thing is to discover Sydney yourself. To find yourself in Sydney. Like, if you hear about a couple of people fighting over which Indonesian restaurant is the best, you can look online for the reviews on both locations, but the best thing to do is for you to try it yourself. And that's the best thing about Sydney. And that's for you can try things out yourself. You don't have to go on. Like, though I've made recommendations, that's what I just did, or what I did with the getting touristy gift things and going to certain locations to eat things. Those are just recommendations. This ain't stated facts. So if you do travel to one of those like other locations and you do eat at a cafe or a tuck shop or whatever, you can find yourself experiencing something new, something wonderful. Especially go to like one of those burger joints, like burger, chip, and fish and chip joints, because you get to see them put the chips into the basket, drop the basket into the hot oil. Then you can see them preparing like the burger buns. Then you can see them, like if you order a burger that has fried onion on it or a fried egg, you see them crack the egg on top of on the grill top and smack the onion on there. See the onions caramelize, become more like translucent in color. And you can see the egg go from like the clear liquid on the outside to seeing the turn white, and you see like the yolk become so delicious and so flavoursome. And sometimes they do crack salt and pepper on the like on the caramelized onion and the egg as well, just to bring out the flavors and that a bit more. But yeah, as I said, that's just a recommendation. And also the Parramatta River thing. It's, to be honest with you, I've travelled the Parramatta River, and it is one of the most majestic things you can do. The closest thing I can say, it's like the Venice of New South Wales, because you guys said you got hotels, shops, restaurants slash cafes, parklands, different industry points, and all this stuff on one river. And I suggest that you do that. But let me just finish up here. It's nearly 50 minutes long. But let me just finish up by saying this. You gotta get. This is something that you have to do in Sydney. Get yourself some. Over here we call them stubby holders, but over here in your neck of the woods, you call them cozies or koozies. So you can get yourself a number of them and just throw a party and have that number of people come, and you can just have them put like their cans or even bottles of beverages into these things, and you can just slam it down hard. And that's when you take the stuff back to America. That's the only thing I'm saying that you have to do, and that's to buy yourself some cozies. You can give them as gifts. You can keep them as a way for you to don't worry about placing like drink coasters everywhere. You can just give your guests a stubby holder and tell them to put like the drinks in there, and then you can put them down. It's the most universally great thing to do. Get some stubby holders. You must do it. And yeah, yet again, if anyone over here says, "Oh, beware the drop mates," over in Penrith, mate, shit, there's a lot of drop bears out there. Don't believe them. It's just something some idiots over here in Australia that would try to make idiots of some of you guys. So yeah, don't believe them. And just finally, by saying this to you beautiful sisters out there in that great land called North America, in that great land called the USA, welcome to your finding your Australian self, or in this case, finding your Sydney self. You can find yourself your favourite rugby league team. Over here in New South Wales, we have 2 AFL teams. We have 3 soccer teams. There's a whole plethora of sports over here in Australia where you can actually look into. One more than Sydney. And yeah, we're not New York, we're not California, we're not like Texas. We are our own thing. And ladies, let me just say this yet again. Thank you for looking into Australia, and welcome to your journey to finding out your Australia. And to use a local colloquialism or local phrasing, see you later, Sheilas, which means See you later. See you later, my sisters.